She has become one of the most followed political prisoners of our time, incarcerated for over 20 years. But why? Why is there so much secrecy behind this case? What does she know, and why are they so determined to silence her? This is the story of Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, a tale of resilience, injustice, and a cry for freedom that refuses to be silenced. Truly understand what happened to Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, we must go back to the early 2000s, a period of fear, suspicion, and an unprecedented shift in U.S. foreign policy. The 9/11 attacks reshaped the world, ushering in an era of global surveillance, foreign invasions, and anti-Muslim sentiment. The Patriot Act enabled mass detentions, secret renditions, and an unchecked abuse of power in the name of national security. In this era of hysteria, countless innocent lives were torn apart, and one of those lives was Dr. Aafia Siddiqui's. Dr. Aafia Siddiqui was not a terrorist. She was a brilliant academic, an MIT graduate, and a neuroscientist pursuing her PhD at Brandeis University. A devout Muslim, she was known for her intelligence, kindness, and passion for social justice. She spoke out against the genocide in Bosnia and supported humanitarian causes, but never was she labeled an extremist. Yet, in the post-9/11 world, being a practicing Muslim and an outspoken woman made her a target. September 17, 2001, just days after the attacks, President George W. Bush signed a classified memo that granted the CIA unlimited power to detain and interrogate anyone suspected of terrorism. This memo paved the way for secret operations, indefinite detentions, and forced disappearances, often without any formal charges. Dr. Aafia Siddiqui would soon fall victim to this brutal system. It's 2003. Dr. Aafia, along with her 3 children, is on her way to Karachi airport when suddenly her taxi is surrounded. Cars block their path, armed men storm in, and within seconds they are forcibly taken. Her 6-month-old son disappears, presumed dead. Her 3-year-old daughter is secretly handed over to an American Christian family, given a new identity, and stripped of her roots. Her eldest son, just 6 years old, is sent to a prison in Kabul, where he is threatened with execution if he reveals his true identity. And as for Dr. Aafia, she vanishes into the dark abyss of the CIA's Black Site program. For 5 years, the U.S. government denied any knowledge of her whereabouts. But leaked reports and testimonies from former detainees revealed the truth. Dr. Aafia was held in Bagram Prison, Afghanistan's infamous Guantanamo of the East. Inside those walls, she endured unimaginable horror. She was beaten, psychologically tormented, and subjected to sexual violence. Guards would play recordings of her children screaming to break her spirit. In sheer desperation, she convinced herself they were not real, her only defense mechanism against the cruelty. But despite the pain, she refused to break. In 2010, Dr. Aafia Siddiqui was brought to the U.S. to stand trial, not for terrorism, but for allegedly attempting to shoot FBI agents while in custody. There was no forensic evidence, no fingerprints, no gunpowder residue. Yet, the media smeared her as Lady Al-Qaeda, painting her as a dangerous mastermind. The verdict? 86 years in a U.S. prison, more than some convicted murderers receive. The message was clear: this wasn't justice, this was a political statement. Dr. Aafia's imprisonment sparked outrage across the world. From Pakistan to the UK, from Turkey to South Africa, people took to the streets demanding her release. Her sister, Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, has fought tirelessly for her freedom, while millions continue to sign petitions urging world leaders to intervene. Even now, thousands plead with President Biden to free her before his term ends. Why is the U.S. government so adamant about keeping Dr. Aafia Siddiqui locked away? What secrets does she hold? Was she simply a pawn in a larger geopolitical game, or is her continued imprisonment a warning to others who dare to speak out? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Dr. Aafia Siddiqui's story is far from over. It is a story of injustice, resilience, and a fight for freedom that refuses to be silenced. If you believe in justice, share this story. Speak out, demand her release, because no human being deserves to be forgotten, silenced, or buried under the weight of injustice. This is the case of Dr. Aafia Siddiqui.